Good morning, merry time of day. I have what I think is going to be a short and sweet little video because I have these trousers that I really rather like, but they have become too big for me, and without any belt loops to speak of, I can't really just cinch it in like I would normally do because I'm lazy. But I do have another idea for something we might try. And spoiler alert, this is very much inspired by TikTok user Sasha Starlight, who sells a pattern of drawstring adjusted palazzo pants, and they have the drawstring in the back so you don't interfere with anything going on in the front, like the pockets and the zipper or anything like that. So we are gonna open up the side seams of the waistband. This is I would show you, but this is one of those classical folded over waistbands, so it is hollow inside, and we are gonna see if we can add a little bit of a drawstring to the back of this one so that they will be adjustable, but they will also be easy to return to their original size. So here are the side seam of our little dress pants, and we are just going to carefully open her up without tearing into the fabric. Hopefully. And as you can see, there is a hollow inside where we can thread a drawstring. But our drawstring does need to come out somewhere. So if you can see here, I've just matched up our two side seams. And then I'm gonna go all the way to the mid back, and we are gonna let's just put a pin in that while we are marking that like so. And then I learned this from the linen pants we made just a little while ago, that it's difficult to hit the middle when you have another fabric in the back. So we are gonna thread, this is my little point turner, a little piece of wood. You can use a ruler or anything else, but we're just going to thread this in so that when we snip two holes for the drawstring to come out of, we are not hitting this back part of the fabric. And then we can just snip our two buttonholes, well, drawstring opening casing holes, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't have to be very big. There we go. And of course, remember to take your support out again so it does not get stuck. Now we just gotta find some drawstrings that will fit this. Should we go safe with some linen tape? Or we could add a little whimsy with green. Oops. More green over here. But actually, I think we're gonna go all out and give our new friend some pop of color. Well, not new, she was secondhand, but joyous colors galore. Now, this might come out completely haywire, but I do seem to remember something about bias tape and turning straps inside out and a little pull thing and pulling while you're sewing. So this might go completely off what we're intending to do, or it might work. Let's give it a try. Alright, so put our little pull string at the end here. Oops. There we go. Put a little tab over that. And then we stitch that shut. Maybe a couple of times to make sure it sticks. We can just cut it off later. I'm really nervous as this will work. Only one way to find out. I feel like the risk of accidentally sewing your pull string is very large, especially if you are clumsy like I am. That seems like a potential risk with this method. And then we're supposed to... no, it just scrunches up on itself. Madam. This is why these clever hacks never really do what they are supposed to. Come on. Trying new things so you don't have to. Now, I will admit, I'm not a super big fan of pulling these things inside out, so maybe this trick will be a keeper. Look at that! You're starting to get something out the other end. Excellent. My biggest problem is honestly being super worried that I am gonna sew the finished ribbon to the one I'm working on. So maybe some thicker bias tape would have been better. And I don't know if you can hear this, but I can also hear the snapping of the sewing threads, so it is not quite ideal for keeping the integrity of what we are working on. Is it easier? Maybe, but it's still cumbersome, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. I did stitch into the already turned ribbon. Not a lot, but there we go. Yeah, you hear that? That is a seam ripping. Not a good sound. Might want to go over this one more time when we've managed to turn it, just for integrity. me very stretched and quite tired seam, but there we go. And it was quicker than me trying to turn it by hand, I will admit. And then we take our little friend and if you don't have one of these bodkins, you can just get a safety pin. That's what I used to use. And we're just gonna and this is where it was relevant to open the side seams, because we are going to run our sewing machine over to reinforce. Since this is such a quick fix, we might as well. I'm gonna pull the bobbin thread in. And I don't normally do this, but why not? Let's tie a little double knot on the ends. Hide all the inside like so. It's not very visible inside the waistband either, even in a contrasting thread. You know, I'm trying to finish a little project here. Yeah, I know. And then we just close her up again with some whip stitches. All in all, this project took me maybe a morning, including the filming, which is pretty unheard of when it comes to me making any sort of adjustment or adaptation. So, highly recommend. Can absolutely recommend this adjustment. It does work. And remember, bodies change. This is completely natural, but clothes are supposed to fit you, not the other way around. Take care, everyone. Bye.